Hello and welcome to this week's Coffee Club. We're on the road on our way back from Munich. We're currently in Amsterdam Airport, Schiphol Airport, taking a little break on our journey back. Apologies for Bill's attire.
Honestly.
It's rather controversial.
What's controversial, Werner? It's a camouflage hoodie.
Wearing a toddler's jumpsuit. But we're here anyway. It's the afternoon after the night before.
A man with no style.
Celtic got a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich. Ultimately, they're out of the competition.
Yeah.
Well, your column this morning was quite hard hitting. I thought I felt a little bit harsh. In all honesty, for me, Celtic were excellent.
Right, so my jumper and my call. Anything else?
We've not got time to mess around here. We've got a flight to catch. I thought Celtic were exceptional.
As I have said,
albeit they're out.
But you when it comes right down to it,
tell folk you're calling me. You're making the point.
So my feeling is Celtic were absolutely magnificent. Every man on the pitch did exactly what Brendan Rodgers and Callum McGregor had said they would do. Go for it, get on the front foot, give their everything, blah, blah, blah. They silenced the crowd, they had Bayern Munich in trouble. But in the first half, inside the first 17 minutes, they had 4 enormous chances.
Yep.
3 of them in particular were absolute stonewallers, which they couldn't take. Now, at the end of the day, we can praise Celtic all we like, but you have a choice, I suppose, don't you? Do you want the pat in the head for almost winning?
You're either glass is half empty or half full.
I think Celtic's glass was pretty full last night, but you have to, and at that level, if you want to go further, you have to take those chances. And that might sound a bit harsh to some Celtic fans, because right now people are saying, quite rightly, there's a lot of elation. What a fantastic performance. So proud of the team. From where they were in Dortmund in September, they've come a million miles. Absolutely true. But those minutes when they had the chances, I think, Nicholas Kuhn doesn't put his foot through the one that gets kicked off the line. Daisameda doesn't realise the time he's got when Neuer's off his line and puts over the bar. Is that away from reaching Ernie Engels' cutback? Now, Callum McGregor has argued after the game that, maybe if you score early, maybe the game turns out differently because you come off it. I totally get that. He thinks Celtic scored at a very good time for them. I just can't help thinking that if Celtic had been 2-0 up, what a different story.
Yeah, listen, we were there at the time, and as they were missing the chances earlier on, we were all looking at each other thinking they're going to live to the greatness. You can't
absolutely
create those kind of chances against a team like Bayern Munich.
That's all I'm saying.
Expect to get away with it.
Yeah.
But that said, I think from open play, it wasn't a backs to the wall performance.
Absolutely not. It was brilliant.
It wasn't a defensive rear guard. Celtic played and passed the ball as well as I've seen a Scottish team do so in Europe.
Very calm.
Against top class
opposition.
The Bayern Munich, I thought, were actually quite poor on the night.
Yep.
For their standards.
I think Celtic didn't let them play.
Exactly. Celtic set traps for them early on, and they pounced on the traps. Bayern Munich, I thought, walked into them.
Yes.
And that's where the chances came.
Yes.
I think as the game was going on, Celtic get tired, and I think had they gone to extra time, I think there's every chance they would have probably lost.
Yeah, but I think
we'll never know.
I think they deserved the chance.
I think exactly.
Now, even if they'd lost 3 or 4 goals in extra time, which was eminently possible with the physicality of Bayern Munich and the players they have, I still think Celtic would have deserved the chance to go 100%. there. Now, had they lost the game 3 or 4-1, it would have looked a lot different. But it wouldn't have changed the fact that they had played for the 90 minutes sensationally well. And it's a horrible, ugly goal to lose. But I think if they're being very honest with themselves, how many times have we seen teams lower down the league go to Parkhead, play quite well, come away with a close defeat and pat themselves in the back for doing all right?
Yeah.
I don't want. If I was a Celtic fan, I don't want to feel like that about Bayern Munich. I want to say, okay, it's a great step forward, but you want to say, wow, we took our chances. Look what we did.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that, and I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination it was an incredible night for Celtic or Scottish football.
In many ways, it was, Robert.
But the point I would make is there has to be a bit of realism from where, as you say, you touched on at the start, the Borussia Dortmund result, performance earlier in the season, and where Celtic are at now. I don't agree with Brendan Rodgers mentioned about finances, which I think is a silly thing to say, because
every manager does that now,
we
don't
can
they?
say that every single week.
Any
Smirren or Kilmarnock or Motherwell could say that every single week. Well, finances, they don't do it, they just got on with it. So I don't like when he does that. But I think watching Celtic, I thought they were excellent. I thought they were really good.
They were
I think it's a bit
outstanding.
churlish to kind of just point to the fact that they could have.
It's not just pointing to the fact.
Yeah.
My column is 800 words of how brilliant they were, and 100 words of.
I don't just mean you.
Well, who else are you criticising? Because you've only mentioned me.
No, I'm just sitting beside me. I'm not criticising anyone. I'm just saying that I think if
There's nothing churlish about saying that. So, like, for instance, it doesn't matter the quality of opposition you're playing against. If you get those chances and you're a good player, you should be scoring.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the bottom line. After the first leg, I wrote a piece about how many what-ifs there were in the first leg, but they were out with Celtic's control. The offside decision's out with their control. The penalty they don't get out with their control. But last night they were in control of the situations when they were clean through in Manuel Neuer, and they couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
In that first half, the goal they got was at a time when we were actually both starting to think they were looking a little bit tired, and suddenly they forced mistakes on Bayern, and it was a brilliant counter-attacking away team goal, wasn't it? Yeah. It was a great moment.
Yeah. Oh,
and for Nicholas Kuhn, who grew up at Bayern Munich's B team before being let go, I think that must have been a phenomenal moment.
Huge moment for him, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Listen, they're out. Ultimately, they're out. But I do think Celtic can look back on this European campaign with a fair degree of
100%
pleasure at how it turned out. To say when they played Dortmund in that first game in Germany, I don't think many of us would have at that point predicted that they would manage to get themselves through into a position, the playoff position where they could potentially get through. Yeah. And again, after half an hour in the first leg against Bayern, we're sitting watching that game. I don't think there's many of us or Celtic fans who at that stage would have predicted that they were seconds away from taking it to extra time. Listen, ultimately, over the two legs, Bayern Munich are the better team.
Yeah.
They deserve to be in the last 16, and there's every chance the finals in Munich at the end of May. They will.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're good enough.
I don't think they're good enough to go there.
But equally, I think there are quite a few teams left in the competition yet who aren't maybe the teams who were.
No, I get that.
In the last decade, you know.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich will be targeting getting back to the final. The last time they got to the final, they lost to Chelsea in penalty when they played it. The final was played at their place.
Yeah.
And that's certainly one of the things that's rival. But they were. I thought Celtic deserved better. But equally, as much as I say that last night, I think, as you see, I think you're bang on. I think they deserve to get it to extra time.
Absolutely.
I think at that point, I think we could all see they were seeing it. They were losing a bit of legs.
Yeah.
The substitutes came on,
and they didn't strengthen the team. Celtic's bench last night wasn't the strength. I mean, you look at Bayern's bench. There's where the difference is in that depth. In the same way as from week to week, if Celtic played Dundee United or St Mirren St Johnson, the difference in the bench is incredible.
Yeah. That is something they're going to have to. I mean, Brendan Rodgers spoke about that after the game in terms of where they go from here and how he's looking to make Celtic a proper, genuine group stage Champions League team from here on in. If they are to do that, one of the things they have to do is strengthen their squad to a point where they don't weaken when they make changes. Now, that's something I think they have in Scottish football standards. They don't get weakened, but in European top level standards.
Now you've got a take on this because they do have a qualifying game to play if they want to be in the group stages next season. And I know that you're not sure whether not signing a striker in January is going to come back and bite them.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm feeling, and I think that's. I don't think there's any doubt about that whatsoever. When they decided to let Kyogo go, it wasn't a feeling for this season. I think there was I don't think they were thinking that way. The club, I think, were looking at it that they'd probably hit their ceiling in terms of how far they were going to get in Europe. And I think there's a feeling, understandably and rightly so, that the league domestically is won.
But you think they should be thinking further ahead?
Brendan Rodgers and the club, and I know Brendan Rodgers will be thinking that way, they should have had a striker in, not necessarily just for this season, but to be kind of feet on ground for when the European qualifier.
Even if he didn't play that many games before the end of the season.
You'd imagine they would have played so many. If they're going to get it had to be a quality player. So there's no point in bringing someone in just for the sake of bringing a player in.
Yeah.
But if they were going to get someone in, it wasn't necessarily for this season. It was to make sure he was in situ for the start of next season for that European qualifier. Listen, every chance they'll be looking to get something done early. But for me, that's something that they could live to regret. Defensively, they've grown. I thought last night especially, I thought the fullbacks, Alistair Johnson and Jeffrey Sloop were absolutely magnificent all night. The two centre-halves played really well. Carter Vickers is unfortunate when he tries to slide the ball away at the goal and it hits off Alphonso Davies' shins more than Davis actually puts it in. But I thought the two fullbacks were outstanding all the way through the game, especially Sloop up against Michael Wimmer, who was terrific. That was a big call, wasn't it? Because obviously there's a situation with Greg Taylor which we've mentioned numerous times now, and Sloop's obviously just been brought in. I actually thought when he came on in the first leg, he looked really kind of
off it.
So I thought it was a huge call from Brett, albeit he played at the weekend. in the league game, and he had a good game, really good game. But it was a massive step up for him, and I thought he was probably arguably Celtic's best player.
In the first couple
of... as you say, Alistair Johnson, I thought was exceptional as well.
He just loves to defend, Alistair Johnson. But in the first couple of minutes, at least he took the ball to the byline and kind of played with Sloop, knocked it to the far post, and Gnabry headed it into the side netting. There's a wee sliding doors moment if he scores that, but he doesn't score that. And I thought, Sloop's in for a hard night with Elise, because Elise is a proper player, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he just got better and better, and he stood up and defended his corner. And I think he's now Celtic's left back for the rest of the season.
So you wonder how things are going to shape up now for Greg Taylor. But listen, it was that Celtic's European campaign at an end. It was a cold night last night, wasn't it? I don't know if you've any idea when you were watching it at home. I genuinely could not feel my fingers. I think by the end of the night it was -10.
Yeah.
Out of the pitch.
Proper cold.
It was cold. Although we did have a shout out, using that expression, a shout out to the guy, the Bayern fan, who at half time delivered us 2 pints of German lager. Yeah, which is really good for bringing your blood temperature up on a very cold night. It was a little bit miffed though why we didn't drink them.
We didn't drink them.
We had to be professional. But yeah, that was a kind gesture.
That was a very nice thing to do. He was a nice lad.
It was. It's some stadium, wasn't it? It was some.
It's just it's
Celtic
a
fans were
place.
high up in the rafters.
Yeah, and they were great. The noise of the Celtic fans was.
A great view they must have had.
You kept watching the Bayern fans below them turning round to listen to them and to see them, and they gave Celtic some amazing support. And okay, you lose, and I'm saying what I think about the chances missed. But if you're a Celtic fan there last night, in that moment when Nicholas Kuhn scores, that's what you live for, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be in a stadium like that and see your team go ahead, and who would be the last Scottish team to lead in not even in that stadium, but in the old Olympic Stadium, Raith Rovers.
Well,
I think probably since then he's led Scottish team there. And in that moment when they go 1-0 up, and suddenly they're thinking, is this actually going to happen? Yeah. That's
the thing. I think that's what it comes back to for me. I think we were discussing the game over a German lager the night before, and if I'm being honest, I thought Celtic were going to get a doing. Frankly,
it was very possible.
I thought there was a real chance that they could come unstuck.
Yep.
In that kind of level. But I think if you're a Celtic fan or a Celtic player, there's a way to lose a game of football.
And that was the way to lose it.
There's a way to get you carried out your shield. You can dive your boots onto it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what they did. And I don't think Brendan Rodgers spoke to this before the game. It was one of the topics of conversation about we've run it a million times, but having no regrets.
Yeah, and seize the day and blah, blah, blah.
Leaving nothing out there. And I don't think there's anyone really, truly that can say that they didn't do that.
As I say, I know that people will think it's harsh when I'm talking about the missed chances, but at that level, if you want to make the difference between being heroic failures and incredible victors, that's what you have to do. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Celtic were outstanding.
Yeah, I'm still not having that jumper, by the way.
That's all right.
I keep looking. I actually can't see you. You're just ahead.
Well, that's why it is.
What else has been happening? I see we're on our way back. Flight in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
We've got incidentally some lovely cakes that you've purchased.
This is a porn star martini cake.
Of course it is.
And this is
this
is a pomegranate and white chocolate cake.
So what makes it a porn star martini cake?
Well, it's infused with porn star martini.
Okay. I actually think we should have gone into Amsterdam and gone for a coffee shop club.
Spliffing a pancake?
Coffee shop club would have been good today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got some decent cakes here. The coffees are magic.
Yep.
As ever. What else has been happening? We're going back to, where are you at the weekend? You've got...
I'm actually back for the second week in the road to the Championship. I went to see Falkirk Ayr on the Saturday. It was a cracking game. And I'm going to see Ayr against Livingston, second against third this Saturday, which is a big game. So I'm really looking forward to going down. I love Somerset Park. It's one of my favourite grounds. Proper old school football ground. And Scott Brown there against Davy Martindale, two real, feisty characters up against each other. And I don't think it's going to be the world's prettiest game of football, but it's going to be a really good one.
I'm at St Mirren against Rangers at Ibrox.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that lot going on. Rangers, obviously, things have maybe died down a little bit. What about Motherwell?
Well, you broke the story.
Big changes there.
You broke the story about the new manager. Everybody was, when we were out on Monday evening having dinner, everybody, all the press boys are talking, who's going to be Motherwell manager? Oh, it's going to be this one, it's going to be that one, it's going to be that one. Nobody had the name Michael Wimmer until first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
The man with the boring jumper.
It did come out. The man with black jumper. It did come out of the blue a little bit, but it's, what do you make of it? Because it's a bold one, I think. It's quite an interesting one.
That's a
I
word.
quite like the fact that it's maybe mixed up a little bit, that they've maybe not just getting through with some of the normal names that fly around, but
we could have said that about Simo Valakari, it's Johnson and various other Scottish
I think it's a huge
appointments.
risk for them.
All these outside the box European manager appointments are a huge risk. I'm not saying there's any manager's appointment that's not a huge risk these days, but you would have to say why. Here's the question. If I was at the press conference saying, I'd be saying to them, looking for the Motherwell chairman, saying, why? Tell me what this guy is going to do that a manager here in Scotland couldn't have done. You know, tell me why he's better than Stuart Kettlewell, or whoever else you've had.
He's better than Stuart Kettlewell because he fancies the job.
Well,
Stuart Kettlewell got the appointment, he didn't fancy the job. And by the way, Derek McGregor got a great, outstanding interview with Stuart Kettlewell the other day, where he explained his reasons and his rationale for walking away from the job. I still think he might live to regret it in time, and he might wish he'd just maybe kind of buckled down a little bit. But he made the choice. Power to him. And here we've got Michael Wimmer coming in, and he's pretty much saying, well, that's none of my business what happened in the past. But do you think, though, a manager get in there, and you're talking about why the Motherwell board have gone with him, he's maybe blown them away in his interview. I think he was linked with a few jobs, or he was linked with a few jobs in England, and the work permit issue.
Bristol Rovers was the last one.
Yeah, it wasn't resolved, and Motherwell managed to get it over the line. But, I mean, do you think, like at a club like Motherwell, is it important that there's a good relationship between the fans and the manager? Is that important these days? Or? Well,
it is, because the last 2-3 Motherwell managers, Graham Alexander was basically, I'm not going to say hounded out, but he took a lot of abuse, and then he was gone, and it's happened with Stuart Kettlewell now, and I think maybe the expectations of fans at some clubs, Motherwell included, can be a little bit unrealistic sometimes. What are you? Because in the league we're all playing in, between maybe 4th and 12th, certainly 11th, there's nothing. You can barely get a newspaper between any of them. And 3 wins and you're up there, and 3 defeats and you're down there. And that's what happens. And Motherwell have gone in little runs of playing well, and they've gone in runs of playing badly. But then so have St Mirren, and so have Dundee, and so have Kilmarnock and everybody. So what do we expect of? You hope that your club, like last season, our club, sneaked into that last European place. You hope that's what you're going to get from your club, but it's very difficult and it's very unpredictable.
So what is a realistic target then for Motherwell?
Top 6.
Just top 6.
Well,
I don't mean just top 6, but top 6.
I would say top 6, because right now you're looking at Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts, Hibs are coming on strong, Dundee United are doing well. So if you're going to break into that 6, you're doing okay. Dundee United are they're a classic example of a team that have played really consistently all season, and suddenly it's 1 win in 6. So everybody gets through these runs. Aberdeen just come off a run of 742 consecutive defeats, whatever it was, and they're now thinking, oh, we're back into 3rd, and they're feeling great about themselves again. So that's the way this league goes. And if Motherwell could get into the top 6, Killie are saying exactly the same, St Mirren are saying the same, Dundee are saying the same, and everybody can't get in there. So he comes in and inherits a team that's not playing well, a fan base that's not happy, a team that's not been playing good football. He says he's going to get the fans excited.
Wait a minute, I'll stop you right there. Hold on a minute, because that's been one of the sticks that was used to beat Stuart Kettlewell, and it was something he addressed. I heard him on the radio while he was still in the job, and it was one of the things he defended, I thought, really well. The style of football thing, is that, where do you stand on that? Because I've been watching Motherwell for a long time, on and off at games yourself. And they're not renowned for this open, expansive
but he was
way of playing.
But Stuart Kettlewell was
as a football club.
No, Stuart Kettlewell, Motherwell have had attacking teams the same as anybody else. So, if you go back in history, there have been lots of teams that have been really great to watch. But
does that trump league position?
No, absolutely. No, I think in this league, it is all about points make prizes, right? Now, Stuart Kettlewell came in when they were in relegation danger. He got them well safe. He got them to a semi-final of the League Cup this season that they were fairly close to putting Rangers out. It was a very late, turnaround by Rangers. So I don't think his record was bad. I think when Lennon Miller plays well, Motherwell play much better. Yeah. You notice a difference when he was out injured there, that it just wasn't happening for them. you know, I don't quite know what fans want. You know, I watch our team play, and sometimes St Mirren can quite excite you as a fan. And other times you watch me say, I wouldn't open the curtains to watch this. Yeah. And that's just the way our league is.
That's life as a
as a middle of the road football fan.
Club.
Yeah. And at the end of the season, if you get enough points to finish in the top 5 and you qualify for Europe, it doesn't matter whether you've done it with nothing each draws and 1-0 wins off somebody's backside. People just remember that you qualified for Europe or you reached the top 6.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. One thing though, that we touched on this other week though, that as I say, I've not been in Motherwell every week, so I could be wrong with this, but I feel a bit for the Motherwell fans by and large, because it didn't strike me there was a torrent of abuse going towards Stuart Kettlewell. There might have been sections of it, but I think it's important to say that there are a lot of good Motherwell fans who go every week and who do back the team, who do back the manager. But there's maybe a vocal few.
But we both know, Robert, what happens is these days. It's not see your average regular football fan that goes to the game. They're not, you know, you maybe lose their ag a wee bit with a referee or shout at the manager, but you're not giving them the kind of abuse that stops his family wanting to come to a game. It's people waiting for you outside stadiums.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you get a message on the way down the road on the bus, and by the way, you better not go near Fir Park because there's people there.
Yeah.
It's the online stuff as well. It's that horrible poison that people are now regularly getting online. So I think it'd be very wrong to say that Motherwell fans who go to the stadium in general were giving Stuart Kettlewell a hard time. But if he believes that for the good of his mental health and the safety of his family, that there was enough people giving him that grief, I think he's quite entitled to say, I don't want to do this job anymore.
He's certainly entitled to do it. It's each to their own. I mean, as I say, in the interview he did with Derek McGregor in our place the other day, he didn't back down on what he did the old double down.
He doubled down.
He said,
and that's the kind of guy he is, though, isn't he?
And that's one of the things, and he spoke about this. It was a great line where he spoke about it, saying, I didn't want to get to the stage where I'm jumping across basically advertising holdings or something to get to someone and end up a confrontation. You know, if he was aware enough to think that was a possibility, then he's probably right to have decided, because I need to step away from this.
See, there's the thing, there's where in kind of mental health terms, it maybe doesn't become about, because you can't control how other people are behaving towards you, but if you see if you see your behaviour changing, and if you see your stress levels going through the roof, then maybe, you know, it's not a case of, okay, you should grow up here, he should be thick-skinned. It's how it's affecting him as a person. If he's waking up in the morning and he doesn't want to go to his work, then don't go to your work.
Yeah, only he knows that. Only he knows that, absolutely. But I do genuinely wonder, as I said, we've spoken of this before, I think he would admit himself, and I don't know Stuart Kettlewell, but he would admit himself probably that he's quite an emotional guy, that he maybe does...
He's quite intense.
Yeah, but he maybe does not make... Like in a match day situation, he's got himself into situations where he's getting sent to the stand. So he's very emotional.
Yes.
And I wonder if the decision he made now
was an emotional decision.
Turned out to be reflected upon as an emotional decision. But again, in an interview that he did with Derek, he pretty much doubled down on it to say, no, I'm happy that I made the right decision for my family's sake, for my own.
And I think that's the important thing, is that people would automatically say, he can't handle it, he's a coward, whatever he is. But he's not. No, but people have. I've seen it. I've had emails from people, from Motherwell fans saying it, right? And you go, wait a minute, this is this guy's health, and it's his life. And if he doesn't want to be there, he's a human being with a family, and he'll get another job. He'll go somewhere else. He's a well thought of coach. He'll go somewhere else, and he'll be happy. You know.
Yeah, but you do wonder. Again, will there be clubs that are put off
him?
Yeah, by his decision, by his. Is that a kind of cross in a box rather than a tick in a box?
If it is,
if you're doing a list of pros and cons about employing Stuart Kettlewell.
If an employer was put off me because I had any history of stress or anxiety or mental health problems, or I had left a job because of a mental health issue, I wouldn't want to work for them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but you're saying a mental health issue.
No, but it's a mental health. Everyone's a mental health issue when it comes down to stress and anxiety. You know, I'm not saying he's right. You know, what I'm saying is, and as you know, this is something I'm very interested in, is that if anybody was to say, well, you better watch him, he's obviously a wee bit flaky, he walked away for that job, then I wouldn't want to work for them if they don't understand things.
I don't. Yeah, you're probably right, but we know how the real world works. Like, if you're listening, I'm not saying that's the right way to go. That's the right way that people or clubs should be looking at it. But there may be
there may be
chairman or chief execs out there
Well,
when they're drawing up the list.
good for them.
Stuart Kettlewell.
Good for them.
Wrongly, but rightly or wrongly,
absolutely.
is that something that's going to hold them back?
Possibly, but one of the problems with football over the years is that we have developed this kind of shell of suck it up, cram it all down, get on with it, and then you see how miserable players and managers get, and they get driven out of the love gets driven out of them. And Stuart Kettlewell obviously loves football, and I want to see him get that love back wherever he goes next. And so if a club decides you're not for us because you walked away from your job because you didn't like getting the stick, then that's their choice. That's on them. That's not on him.
That's a fair point. And listen, again, as much as I say, I wonder if he regrets it at the time. Power to him for making the decision. It was a brave, I don't know if it's the right word, but he had the nerve to say, like, listen, enough's enough. There's people argue that it was because of league positions, he maybe saw what was coming, he's maybe decided to quit at 5th rather than at 10th. I'm not sure about that, I don't know. Only he knows that. But listen, he'll be linked with jobs. Partick Thistle sacked Chris Doolan the other day. He's been linked with that job already. I think there'll be changes. That's maybe one to watch actually. Thistle, I think there's maybe going to be some changes behind the scenes there in the next wee while that could maybe potentially influence how the road that they go down. But I think someone, and I don't know Stuart Kettlewell, but by all accounts, he's someone who graphs, who's someone who puts the time in.
A very good coach.
24/7. And he's a very good coach. And the players, I think I read or watched Andy Halliday speak the other day or last week when he actually went, and he said there's not one single person in the Motherwell dressing room who was pleased to see Kettlewell go, and that's probably unusual. There's always probably one or two. I say,
excellent.
Like, great, wee chance of refresh here, you know.
Well, the same with Don Cowie at Ross County, who obviously worked under him at County, said before County went there at the weekend how much he admired him, how much he liked working with him, and how sorry he was for him. I think a lot of people will feel the same way. So I wish him well.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely echo that. 100% wish him well. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Motherwell. It's going to be interesting for them there at Dundee United. At the weekend.
Mr. Wimmer.
That's a tough start for Michael Wimmer. But we'll keep an eye on them. As I say, we're going to devour these cakes, I think. We're going to get you to the shop, get you some new gear. But that's about us for this week's Coffee Club. You're not happy? You're not happy with that? I'm perfectly happy with my own choices in life. Okay. Again, this is a you problem. There's a 10-year-old over the corner looking for his hoodie back, and we'll go and sort that out. But listen, thanks for joining us in Coffee Club this week. We'll be back at Bella Vita next week for the usual there. Like and subscribe as ever. It's below here somewhere. You need to. It's not a choice. Like and subscribe. Let us know how what you think about Bill's comments, my comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.